Guys, we are finally here. We are finally at the final stretch of the season, the stretch in which champions are made, and FC Barcelona are still competing for all of the major trophies, for the Copa del Rey, for the Champions League, and for La Liga. And all I have to say is incredible. Just incredible, because if you would have told me back in August that this FC Barcelona side, at this point of the season, would have been competing for all the trophies, for a potential treble, I would have never believed you. I would have never believed you, because going back towards the end of last season, all the things surrounding the club, like Xavi getting sacked, the Negreira case, the financial situation, the fact that we didn't win any trophies last season, the fact that Real Madrid signed Mbappe and immediately everyone was already counting Barcelona out for the league. So many things surrounding the club that there was just no way we would have gone into the season with the confidence to win all the trophies. No way. But Hansi Flick has come in and is like, nope, I got you guys. And just like that, immediately changed his squad into one of the best teams in Europe. And now we are finally here to a potentially winning a treble. And I have the utmost confidence that this team can do it under Hansi Flick. Because this team has shown throughout the season how much not only have they improved as a footballing team, playing football, playing incredible football, but mentality-wise. How much they have improved mentality-wise. Because we all know, going back to prior years, how much this team has suffered with the mentality factor. We've all seen them fumble, stumble, just not show the level that they should be showing mentally wise to be competing for the final stages of the seasons where we needed to win all the trophies, right? But now this season we're seeing a complete and utter change. How much we have improved drastically, because not only are we dominating and beating teams, but we're also having to suffer some games, and we've gotten over them. The one game I can really remember that really showed me the mentality factor, how much it's improved, is the 1-0 win against Benfica in the Champions League knockout rounds, where we got a red card early into the game, and we all got flashbacks back to what happened last year against PSG. We all got flashbacks to that. We were like, not again. Please, just not again. But the Barcelona side got over the line, got over the finish line, and were able to get an important win away from home, where all the pressure was on them, and we got away with the win there, which was incredible. The mental factor has improved drastically, because we all know that a manager coming in and making an immediate impact is not easy. It's not easy. It could usually take 1 or 2 seasons to really instill an idea for the players to understand and execute it to perfection on the pitch. It could take some time, but Hansi Flick has done it in 1 season, and it's just so impressive. He's improved individual players that at one point we wanted out of the club. We were saying they had to go. There's just no way. There's no way they can stay at Barcelona anymore, considering also our financial situation. Players like Inigo Martinez, Rafinha, Frenkie de Jong, Lewandowski, players that we were saying had to go. They had to go. Inigo Martinez, he was a signing from Xavi. Xavi saw the potential in him, but every time he would play under Xavi, he wasn't good enough. And he would also consistently get injured. We didn't see enough from him to be like, okay, he can be a Barcelona player. But this season, complete and utter change. Understand the system from Hansi Flick like that. Understood it like that. And has taken over Araujo's spot as a starter for Barcelona, and has improved our defense massively. Incredible. Rafinha, a player who last season, even since joining Barcelona, he's been so inconsistent that we were saying he just doesn't have the level. He doesn't have the level to be playing for Barcelona. He was not consistent enough. And now look at him this season, scoring so many goals, a potential Ballon d'Or winner. And not only has he improved as a player, but as a leader for this side, who we all know he's going to be a future captain. First future captain. Considering Frankie and Ter Stegen and all them, he can be on top of them as a captain for us, because that's just how much he loves the club and how much he encourages the team to play their best every single minute on the pitch. Incredible. Lewandowski, a player that we were saying was finished, because last season he was nowhere near good enough to be playing for Barcelona anymore. But this season, 40 goals this season. 40 goals in all competitions. Wow. He's obviously still frustrating at times, but again, he steps up when he needs to step up, and he's been incredible. He's been incredible as a striker this season. And Frenkie de Jong, another player who we bought for a big fee from a very young age when he joined Barcelona, where we all saw the potential in him, but it's been inconsistent. But now this season, we're seeing he's literally hitting his prime under Hansi Flick. Literally hitting his prime, where he has played that double pivot alongside Pedri to perfection so far, and he's just been incredible for us. And just so much credit to Flick. And one of the players that I definitely was shocked that Hansi Flick has improved, that really I was like, wow, finally, was Pedri. Don't get it twisted. It was never because I ever doubted his ability. Never doubted that the footballer that he was. It was always a matter of injuries with him. Always a matter of injuries because he would just consistently always get injured. Because we all saw the potential in Pedri. We all saw the moment he joined Barcelona how good he was. How he would link up with Messi. It was just perfection. We all saw how incredible he was. But he would just consistently always get injured. Always get injured. When we desperately needed him, he wouldn't be there because he would just be injured. He wouldn't be out for 1 or 2 weeks. He'd be out for months. And his loss would be so evident. So evident because we all know that this guy is a generational talent. Everyone saw it at first at the 2021 Euros where he just bossed up the midfield for Spain. It was just amazing. Amazing. He's the original star boy. Forget about Jude Bellingham. Forget about Julian Warts. Forget about Jamal Musiala. Forget about Foden. No, it was Pedri. He was the OG. And now he's back. Has taken his place back as the best midfielder in the world because he has just been incredible this season. And all I can say is, thank you, Hansi Flick. I don't know what you've done with him. I don't know what magic you pulled on him, but thank you. Because we're finally seeing a Pedri that we've always wanted to see. A season-long Pedri. To the point where all the fans are screaming, Pedri, Pedri, Pedri. Not Lamine, not Rafinha, not Lewa, the goal scorers, but Pedri. Because everyone understands the importance that he has for this team. That this team cannot function without Pedri Gonzalez. So Flick, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Another player I want to mention that hopefully he can do what he did with Pedri is Dani Olmo. Flick, whatever you're doing with Pedri, please start doing with Dani Olmo because we're finally getting to the final stretches. We need to see more of him. We need to see more of him. But, you know, obviously the players I just mentioned are players that we wanted out, but also the players that we saw the potential, like Paco Barci has been incredible. Lamine Yamal, amazing. Casado, another revelation. Koundé improved massively as a right back. Szczesny, incredible for us. Balde, incredible. So many players have improved under Hansi Flick, and we're seeing it this season and how much their work has taken us now to the point where we can win the treble, right? So, but again, we're finally here. We're finally here at the final stretch where we can definitely win this treble. I believe that we could win this treble, but now we got to look at the final games that we have to go up and in this next coming month to become the champion. So I'm going to quickly switch over to the other screen where I'm going to show the games that we have to go through. So, forgetting these games right here, we got to focus more on these games right here. So from April 26th to May 11th. So first, April 26th for the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid. And then the first leg of the semifinals against Inter Milan at the Montjuic. Then in between that, league match against Real Valladolid away from home. Then the second leg at the San Siro. And then another Clásico for the league. Now, it's looking tough, guys. It's looking very tough. Like a lot of difficult matches here for sure, which is really going to test this team to the utmost, for sure. I have no doubt that this team can do it. I have no doubt. But the only factor that gives me some doubts is the physical factor. You know, how much these players are going to be drained, how much these players are going to be tired because of these amount of matches that we're playing in such a short span amount of time. Because from this is little time to these players to really rest. Little time. So that's the main concern for me, but it's never a concern of can these players actually beat these teams? Never. Because we already shown against Real Madrid this season. And Inter Milan, as much of a strong side that they are, I think we're better. And I think we have the better players, especially in the attack. And I think we could do it. I 100% think we could do it. I'll make another video talking more in depth about that game. But yeah, I think we could do it. And then we also got to consider the last 3 games for the league against Athletic Club, who are fighting for the Champions League spot. Have been great this season. Villarreal, another tough side. And Espanyol, who are obviously our rivals for Barcelona. And they might want to spoil the party for us for sure as well. So, but I'm confident. We already beaten these teams this season, so I'm confident that we can do it again. But yeah, guys, this is where champions are made of. This is where champions will be made. This is where champions will be decided. And obviously, we also got to consider who will we face in the final, either Arsenal or PSG, if we end up getting through Inter Milan. But yeah, as much as it's more of a physical factor that I'm concerned of. Sorry if you hear my dog; he's going crazy. As much as if it's a physical factor that I'm concerned of, it could also be a little bit of a mental factor, because one thing we also do have to consider is that a lot of these players have not gotten to this point of a season, to the point where they can actually potentially win all the trophies. Because I just talked about how much they have improved mentally, how much improved mentally to become champions, to become winners. But now that it's actually happening, a lot of these players have never actually experienced. You know, experience matters, and a lot of these players have never experienced getting to this point where they can actually win all the trophies. Only few have, like Lewandowski. He's the only one in our team who's actually won a treble. He's won a sextuple under Hansi Flick. So besides him, No one else. No one else in our team has won a Champions League besides Lewa again. No one else has won a Champions League. Got into a semifinal. I'm pretty sure it's only been Lewa. I'm pretty sure maybe Szczesny with Juventus for sure. And if I'm not mistaken, Frankie de Jong in the 18-19 season, if I'm not mistaken. Besides that, all of our players have not gotten there. They've not gotten there, and we've seen it through prior seasons where we just haven't made it to this stage where we can actually win it. We can actually do it, where we're actually still competing for all the trophies. Because I'm going to quickly show you guys going back to a couple years since Xavi has joined Barcelona. So Xavi joined in the 21-22 season, right? After Koeman got sacked. If I'm not mistaken, Xavi joined around November time, right? So around November time, we got eliminated out of the group stages of the Champions League. Obviously, because we had Bayern, Inter, and we just weren't playing the best. Xavi came into a point where we were practically out of the Champions League, and we end up still getting knocked out. And then we got knocked out to the Europa League, and we lost the Europa League quarterfinal against Frankfurt, right? And then for the Copa del Rey, we got knocked out against Athletic Club in the round of 16. So that happened around January. So by then, no trouble. And then this one happened in April. And at this point, that was the incredible season that Xavi, the massive improvement that Xavi made for us, where he got us from 9th to 2nd, right? So at that point, Real Madrid already had the league. We didn't have a chance there. But we did beat them 4-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu, so that was fire. But going on to the next season, the full season, Xavi's first full season, where we won the league. Impressive, for sure. But then the Copa del Rey, in April, we got knocked out to Real Madrid, where we lost 4-0 at the Camp Nou, where we beat them 1-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu, but then we lost 4-0, which was a sad day for sure. And then in the Europa League, after getting knocked out again from the Champions League, we go back to the Europa League, and we get knocked to fucking Manchester. This was so sad, bro. I was so pissed when this happened. I was like, there's just no way we lost to freaking Man U. We lost to Anthony, guys. We lost to fucking Anthony. Why, man? Why? So yeah, that happened in February, and this one happened in April. So by then, in February, the treble was already done. And again, this season, we already won the league, so we were just focused mostly on the league. Then last season, Xavi's last season at Barcelona. The Copa del Rey, we got knocked out in January against Athletic Club, which was a terrible performance from Barcelona, and a game where Lamine Yamal could have finished that game too. But again, we're never going to blame a young guy for not taking his chances there. He's a young lad. But yeah, bad game for Barcelona. By January, already out of the trouble. Potential trouble. And remember what happened in the Champions League, where we got knocked at PSG in the quarterfinals, and that happened in April. But again, by January, the trouble was already gone. So as you can see, in these prior seasons where we already have a lot of the similar players we have right now, they have never reached this point. So that mental factor can definitely kick into where they're thinking, because everyone, they all for sure have the mentality that, yo, we're going to compete for all the trophies. Like Rafinha said it best. Like, you can't be a Barcelona player if you don't have the mindset to win every single trophy, to compete for every single trophy. That's for sure. But now that they're actually here, some pressure can kick in. Like thinking to themselves, like, we're actually here. We can't fumble now. We can't play bad now. We have to be perfect now, right? These things can kick in, which, looking at the team that we have, I have no doubt that I don't think that it will, affect them in any way, but you just never know. We just never know. And again, looking back at the final stretch, it's tough. It's a tough stretch. And we have to improve mentally. We have to improve as a team. We have to improve our football, because we can see back, looking at these two games right here in specific, the loss against Borussia Dortmund and the win against Leganes, these two games were bad. They were bad from Barcelona. We didn't do enough against Leganes. We should have done better against Leganes, and it took an own goal to get those 3 points. Against Borussia Dortmund, we put up a disaster class. We were terrible in that game. We had to get an own goal to not suffer towards the end, to the point where Borussia Dortmund could have made a comeback. If we didn't get that own goal, they would only been 1 goal behind us in aggregate, which would have been, bad. It would have been sad. But yeah, so we have to improve. This is the point. This is the time now. Barcelona have to improve, have to, take it up another notch, take it up another level, and just do what they've been doing this season. But now try to hit another gear to the point where they can get through all these matches. But again, it's more of a physical factor, how much fatigue is going to kick in, because I made a video almost a month ago talking about how this month of April was going to be our toughest month because of the physical and mental factor, how physically draining these games are going to be for the players. And since we're still competing for all the trophies, we have to, try and be as consistent as we can. Because one of the things for sure is rotations are tough to do. Rotations are tough to do at this stage because for the league, since Real Madrid are knocked out of the Champions League now, they're going to focus only on the league. Especially after the 26th, after the Copa del Rey final, their main focus is going to be in the league. So they're going to go all out for the league now. They're going to try and win it now to not go trophyless this season. And Barcelona can't afford to drop points. I think the deciding factor will come down to a Clásico when we face them, but we still have to be on it for all these matches. We can't afford to drop points. So that also means we can't afford to really make rotations, especially for the key players like Pedri, Lamine, Frankie, Kobarsi, Inigo. Like, these are players that need to be playing, and it's going to be tough to make rotations there. So that's another factor because, again, when we consider the Champions League, the teams that are left in the Champions Leagues, out of all the teams, 1, 2, 3 are still fighting for the treble. I'm pretty sure Inter's still fighting for the treble. 3 of teams are still fighting for the treble, while Arsenal just basically at this point only focused on the. Sorry, I'm not even showing the screen. Well, Arsenal just focused mostly on the league, on the Champions League. So, yeah, guys, it's looking tough. It's looking tough, but again, I have utmost confidence that this team can do it. I'm confident that with what we've been doing this season that we can do it because, again, just looking back at it, like, let's say we end up not winning anything, I'm still going to be proud of what we did this season because no one would have ever expected us to even get anywhere near this point of the season. Like, nowhere near. So I'll be proud of the team, but it would honestly, be sad at the end that we don't because, we'll get killed by the opposition. We'll get killed by our rivals for sure, and we're gonna have to take it. That's football. That's how it goes. We're gonna have to take it because going into the beginning of the season, looking back at the beginning of the season until now, towards the beginning of the season we started off well. We were doing well in the Champions League. We obviously took a loss against Monaco, our first game. A little bump in the road, but I still had the confidence that we were still gonna do something because of how well we were doing in the Liga. And boom, 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 got to October. That was our first hell week. That was our toughest challenge yet because we had to play Bayern Munich and El Real Madrid in the same week. And we passed that week with flying colors. That's when it really showed me that, wow, this team can win the Champions League. Because at that point, my main focus was the Champions League. My main focus was just the Champions League. I wasn't thinking about the league. I wasn't thinking about the Copa del Rey. The Champions League was the only thing in my mind. Only thing. If we had to sacrifice one of the other cups for the Champions League, I would have been totally fine with that. Then going into November, we struggled. We dropped points because at one point we could have been 8 points ahead of Real Madrid. Then we started fumbling to the point where we got to third. Atletico Madrid with our first, up and down the league. And then we got to December. Towards the end, we lost to Atletico Madrid. So much stuff was going around. It's like, what's happening? Then we got to January. The Supercopa final against Real Madrid. Our confidence went back up. And up until now, until the Borussia Dortmund game, we were undefeated in 2025. That's how good we were playing. That's how incredible we were playing. Winning all important games. Obviously some ties in there, but still just impressive run from this side. How much they have improved. Where from this November, December, with a little bit of a downfall, and then from January, picked up again, and up until now, we were undefeated. Undefeated again until Borussia Dortmund. So, and then January was when it really showed me, yeah, we can win the treble. Getting to the Copa del Rey final after defeating Atletico Madrid, getting to the semifinal after beating Borussia Dortmund, and then yet again getting to first place after, winning some games that we need to win and Real Madrid dropping points as well, right? So we're here, guys. Again, we're here. We're finally here, and hopefully this Barcelona side is able to do it. But let me know down in the comments below what do you guys think about Barcelona's season so far. Do you think we can win the treble? And what are your odds of, actually us winning the treble? 50%, 60%, 70%, 100%. Let me know what you guys think overall about Hansi Flick's Barcelona side this season because I'm still impressed. Even up to now, I'm still so impressed. But yeah, let me know all those things down in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, favorite, hit the notification bell for every time we upload. Share to your friends that love football. And I'll see you guys on the next video whenever that is. Much love, take care, and peace.